Whether they were aged down decades or given a virtual haircut, these are some more actors who underwent elaborate digital makeovers for their parts. Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman has received her fair share of CGI assistance. The Israeli-born actor isn't capable of deflecting bullets or chucking tanks in real life, so she needs a little help to make her character a bit more believable. However, the biggest job for the effects department was to hide the miracle of life during the reshoots for Patty Jenkins' first Wonder Woman film. Gadot revealed to Entertainment Weekly that she was 5 months pregnant with her daughter Maya when she was required to head back to the set for additional filming. Due to her growing baby bump, the filmmakers had to find a way to work around it since a pregnancy wasn't a part of the storyline. So, the costume designers cut a gap in her costume around the belly area and placed a green cloth there that allowed the effects team to manipulate the visuals at a later stage. Speaking about the experience, Gadot said, "On close-up, I looked very much like Wonder Woman. On wide shots, I looked very funny, like Wonder Woman pregnant with Kermit the Frog."
They cut a big triangle and painted green. And I came to work, me and Maya, we came to work together.
Martin Scorsese's The Irishman is an ambitious film, not only because it has to keep the audience's attention for almost 4 hours, but also because it spans 5 decades during its runtime. While an easier approach might have been to cast new actors for each specific era of the story, Scorsese wanted his main cast to be present throughout. Senior actor and Irishman star, Robert De Niro, also made it abundantly clear that he wasn't going to wear green dots or motion capture suits to make it happen, according to the Los Angeles Times.
I was just doing a job to make some extra money.
Industrial Light and Magic took on the challenge of creating new technology to tell the epic story. The team created a new camera rig for Scorsese to use on set, which would pick up the kind of data that would be transmitted through the tracking dots normally. Then, they would edit the shots in granular detail, including the frown and smile lines of characters such as De Niro's Frank Sheeran. However, practical effects played a major part as well. Wigs and prosthetics were utilized to add to the authenticity. The Star Wars timeline is a lot like flipping through family photo albums. Not everything is in sequential order. The stories jump around from era to era as filmmakers and showrunners cherry-pick moments in fictional history in which they will set their tales. This creates a little problem. Actors are human, and humans age. No matter how good the sunscreen and skincare products they use are, an actor who was 25 3 decades ago will look significantly older in modern times. Solo, a Star Wars story, solved this challenge by casting a younger actor, Alden Ehrenreich, as Han Solo. But The Mandalorian simply had to have Mark Hamill return as Luke Skywalker.
We knew we wanted Mark Hamill front and center because you can't bring back Luke Skywalker without Mark Hamill.
In an interview with IndieWire, Industrial Light and Magic VFX supervisor Richard Bluff explained how the team approached de-aging Hamill while trying to capture the same look as from Return of the Jedi. Hamill appeared on set in costume and performed the required actions. But there was a younger body double, Max Lloyd Jones, who was responsible for many of the sequences as well. Essentially, the VFX crew deep-faked Hamill's face onto Lloyd Jones for the close-up scenes. Tobey Maguire knows all about the power of CGI, having starred in the original Spider-Man trilogy. However, it isn't his time as Spidey that gives him a spot on this list. It's his appearance as the nameless hitchhiker in Terry Gilliam's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Now, why would the hitchhiker of all people in this film require any type of digital assistance, some may ask? Well, the answer involves something green, but not the kind that's placed on actors and backgrounds for VFX. No, the reason for this special effect was cold hard cash. According to Geek, Maguire shaved off all his hair so the production could get the unique aesthetic for his character, and ended up being called back for reshoots a while later. Reportedly, Maguire had a special clause in his contract that stated he would be paid an extra $15,000 if he needed to shave his head again. The filmmakers decided to save some cash, so they stuck a bald cap on him and tried to digitally match the hair with the previous footage. Most of us have to pay to get our hair cut, but Maguire was lucky enough to have it the other way around. Marvel Studios is no stranger to de-aging actors, but making Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury look 25 years younger was a daunting task. Previously, a digitally edited character would appear for no more than a few shots, but Fury was a fundamental part of the storyline who appeared in a good number of scenes. no corners could be cut. Fortunately, there was no need for new technologies or inventions, as Lola Visual Effects felt comfortable enough with the task at hand. Marvel VFX supervisor Christopher Townsend explained to The Wrap that the team looked at films that Jackson starred in the 90s, like Jurassic Park, to build their digital version of the younger Fury.
But I do know that they referenced some films that I did from that time. So when I look at it, I see, Danny Roman's face from Negotiator.
Jackson's graceful aging provided an additional challenge to the team. Lola VFX supervisor Trent Claus elaborated. If you're working with someone like Sam, who really doesn't have a whole lot of wrinkles, you really have to rely on physiological changes in structure of musculature, textures of skin, the way the weight hangs on your neck and your jaw, things over time like that we've studied for so many years now. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson may look like a character from Street Fighter in the flesh, but he puts a lot of hard work into looking good on the screen and being the most electrifying man in Hollywood. However, there is a moment in the comedy Central Intelligence where Johnson plays a teenage version of his character dancing in the nude, and not looking quite as shredded as he is in the real world.
No, we're not gonna go. This man insulted you, and we're not gonna leave until he apologizes.
It's okay.
Hey, we got a problem here?
No.
Yeah.
The team behind this transformation was the celebrated Weta FX. The New Zealand-based special effects company used some smart techniques to make the scene look as authentic as possible and not too jarring to the viewer. According to Wired, Weta got popular Vine personality Sione Kalipi to dance, while they captured his performance and specific gestures. Then they brought in Johnson and Kalipi to do detailed facial scans, with which they were able to match their expressions and combine multiple performances into a single character.
How you doing?
Since El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, is a sequel to Breaking Bad that follows Jesse Pinkman, not many people expected Bryan Cranston's Walter White to appear, considering the fate of his character at the end of the series. However, the film does a good job of exploring the future and past, so Walter indeed makes an appearance by sitting down with Jesse in a diner scene. While Cranston never had a problem shaving his head to play Walter on the series, he did have a problem when El Camino came around. He was performing on Broadway and couldn't take a razor to his hair. The solution seemed easy enough: a bald cap. Unfortunately, it didn't look as convincing to the filmmakers as they had hoped for. In the end, the digital effects team had to take the digital brush to Walter's head to fix any issues with the bald cap, per The Hollywood Reporter. For such a simple and unassuming scene, most of it had to be recreated with visual effects.